The Ohio State Fair is where families may enjoy exhilarating rides, delectable food, and amazing experiences. But what happens when those beloved moments turn into nightmares? What if the fun-filled atmosphere turns into a horrific scene, leaving one family heartbroken by the loss of a loved one? This was the case with the Jarrel family, who witnessed the unthinkable at the Ohio State Fair. What was supposed to be an exciting day ended in tragedy, leaving many questions unanswered. What caused the Ohio State Fair fireball to become deadly? Who was Tyler Jarrel, and what was his backstory? Let us look into the dramatic events of that tragic day to find answers to these disturbing questions. Who was Tyler Jarrel? A high school senior from Columbus, Ohio, named Tyler Jarrel tragically passed away on July 26 of 2017 in a freak accident at the Ohio State Fair. They planned to go to the fair to celebrate the end of the school year, and he invited his girlfriend and a friend to join them. Tyler had recently enlisted in the Marines and was looking forward to the start of training in September. The future was full of promise and opportunity for him. Everyone adored Tyler because he was such a positive, charismatic young man. He participated in the marching band at his high school because of his love of music. He also served his community as a member of the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, where he gained valuable experience in both leadership and discipline. His commitment to his nation and his sense of patriotism were both quite strong. The loss of Tyler has been felt deeply by his loved ones and the people around him. Everyone he met was affected favorably by the young man's warm personality, his drive, and his commitments. The tragedy of his passing underscored the fleeting nature of life and the significance of savoring every moment. The tragedy. On July 26 of 2017, it was a regular summer day at the Ohio State Fair, and visitors were having fun on the rides and activities. People were forming lines to get on the Fireball ride, which was one of the most popular attractions at the fair, and it was in full operation. Unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse when an unexpected problem occurred with the ride, and it fell apart as it was being operated. Tyler Jarrel passed away in an instant. Because of the power of the impact, he was hurled 50 feet into the air and then slammed into a metal structure, which resulted in his death from crushing. Injuries to the head, trunk, and lower extremities were sustained by the 18-year-old victim. The scary moment that the ride broke down was captured on video and rapidly shared across various social media platforms and local news stations after the catastrophe occurred. At least one of the rows was broken because it looked like two of the rows had collided with a structural support beam made of metal. The tragedy had an effect on more people than just Tyler alone. The event was witnessed by a large number of individuals who were at the fair, and it became immediately evident that something terrible had gone wrong very soon. After calling for the assistance of emergency services, ambulances sped to the location of the accident. Tyler Jarrel was unable to be saved despite the efforts of medical personnel who responded to the scene, and his death was confirmed there. The other injured victims were sent to nearby hospitals where they were treated for their wounds by medical professionals after being harmed. The occurrence left the attendees of the fair in a state of shock, and the entire state was shaken up by the catastrophe that had occurred. Keziah Lewis, Jarrel's girlfriend, was riding along with him when the accident occurred and sustained injuries to her pelvis, ankle, and ribs. She had surgery. Anthony Jarrel, Tyler's father, was left inconsolable by the tragedy and wanted answers, pondering who was to blame for the rides not having been inspected. They were jolted by the encounter, and they voiced their disgust at what they observed. The family of Tyler decided to retain legal representation in order to investigate the possibility of filing a wrongful death claim. The unfortunate event served as a sobering illustration of the significance of amusement park attractions being subjected to regular safety inspections and regulations. The future looked promising for Tyler, but it was cut short much too soon. His Marines brothers in arms, his friends, and his family will never forget him. The investigation. In the wake of the terrible event, a probe has been initiated to ascertain what led to the mishap in the first place. It didn't take long to figure out that the ride had a rusty steel support beam that had broken under the ride's weight and tension. It was determined that the ride's manufacturer, KMG, was at fault since they did not conduct an adequate inspection of the attraction before it was installed. During further research, it was found that KMG was aware of the past problems that had occurred with the ride's safety, including allegations of cracks in the support beam. In spite of this, the corporation continued to run the ride, putting the lives of all who rode it in danger. The investigation also revealed that the ride has successfully passed a safety inspection conducted by the Ohio Department of Agriculture just a few hours before the event took place. Concerns were raised over the efficiency of safety standards and inspections for amusement park attractions as a result of this. The aftermath. As soon as the tragedy occurred, the Ohio State Fair pulled the plug on all of the rides and attractions there. The Fireball ride was taken off the fairgrounds for good, and all the other KMG rides were examined and given a clean bill of health. The family of Tyler Jarrel has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the fair and the maker of the attraction that Tyler was riding. In that case, it was stated that KMG had been careless in the way that it maintained and inspected the ride, and that the fair was responsible for safeguarding the safety of its attendees. The tragic event that occurred at the Ohio State Fair had a significant and widespread effect across the country. As a result, more attention was paid to the rides and amusement parks, and the significance of safety laws and inspections was brought to light. The tragedy served as a wake-up call for both the industry and the government, prompting them to take action in order to prevent incidents of a similar nature from occurring in the future. There was a widespread shutdown of similar attractions at fairs across the country after the tragedy. There was an immediate shutdown of the Fireball attractions at both the Monmouth County Fair in New Jersey and the Orange County Fair in California so that they could be re-inspected. Even though they were not the supplier of the attractions at the Ohio State Fair, North American Midway Entertainment shut down all of its Fireball rides out of an abundance of caution. The Indiana State Fairgrounds and Events Center decided against running the Fireball at their fair, while the Illinois Department of Labor has temporarily banned the running of any rides that are identical to the Fireball. Also, an investigator from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission was present at the Ohio State Fair. Following the tragic events at the Ohio State Fair, fairs across the country increased security measures to better protect their guests. An innocent young man was killed and numerous others were hurt in the tragic accident at the Ohio State Fair. Such tragedy serves as a stark warning of the need for stricter amusement park safety rules and more frequent inspections. So this was all for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to stay updated on our latest content.